Thank you. So, yeah, hello and welcome. My name is Wladimir Huber. We run the company Finrocks. We're existing already for 4 years and a software development company and active investor focusing on FinTech payments and the blockchain industry. And today we are going to talk about the relevance of on-chain asset tokenization and Web3 in banking. I need to put the next slide, please. Does not work. Thank you so much. So before we start, some basic terms. So I'm quite sure everyone is familiar with that, but just to sum it up. So what is asset tokenization? It's basically creating a digital twin on the blockchain and make it tradable. It can be the tokenization of financial instruments or art, wine, real estate, etc. And what is decentralized finance? So it's basically the contrary part of centralized finance. So getting rid of the centralized authority and following a dream where finance can be can exist without a central authority. And Web3 and it's basically evolution of decentralized finance and asset tokenization, and comes with the dream to allow underbanked people that are still existing in our world to be part of the financial economy and basically bring everything, all the concepts together. So now a small overview of the evolution from traditional finance to Web3 banking. So the concept of traditional of asset tokenization is nothing new. It has been there for quite a long time with different use cases. So we know exchange-traded funds, we know ETFs, etc. But let's say, especially in the last decade, where the crypto market became quite mainstream and picked up, we saw that this concept of asset tokenization evolved, and especially during the, let's say, major crypto hype between 2016, 2019, we saw, especially in the tokenization space, many projects. Real estate tokenization was almost everywhere, and everyone was talking about that. Then the next evolution was decentralized finance with products such as Uniswap. And the next evolution of this was Web3, or still is Web3, and the metaverse, especially with Facebook making headlines from rebranding from Facebook to Meta. And now we are in some sort of dormant mode because we had these issues with FTX and Luna, etc. And overall, the market slowed a little bit down, but still the trend is quite positive. And on the next slides, I will go and tell you more about it. So, because Web3 and asset tokenization solves certain problems that are existing in the financial markets, mainly talking about inefficiencies. So we have, as of today, still a large portion of assets around the world, a few trillions, still locked, especially in illiquid assets such as real estate, art, etc. These assets are usually have a very low liquidity. The secondary market is, if exists, then not really optimized and efficient. And many investors still do not have any access to these asset classes. We have still regulatory limitations, so people cannot be part of the banking world because they just simply, they are not accepted by the banks for several reasons. And there's still a lack of technology, so when taking a look at some products and what banks are offering us today, it feels like that we are still in the Stone Age, although we have different requirements now from digital natives especially. Yeah, and asset fractionalization, asset tokenizations offers a solution, especially to the illiquid wealth problem. It expands the scope of stakeholders and also provides access to more asset classes, naturally, or the ones that are or work quite, like still are illiquid, especially real estate, art, etc. Then it also provides a better affordability because the concept allows to make transactions without too many counterparties involved, so it reduces cost and make transaction more efficient, faster, etc. And obviously, the whole concept is part of the Web3 evolution and the metaverse. So imagine a world where you put up your eyeglasses from Facebook, from Meta, for instance, and you can interact with the bank in the metaverse. It's not there yet, but it will come certainly. So where do we stand right now in 2023? Well, as mentioned, we have some still like the current market sentiment is more or less negative, especially with the collapses and like all the people going to jail, like Sam Bankman-Fried, etc. But overall, the consensus is that Web3 remains highly relevant for the market, and there's also a lot of involvement and also many projects behind the scenes that are happening, especially like from big players like JP Morgan, etc. And there's a lot of activity, especially in the asset tokenization, custody, and the digital infrastructure. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. So why is everyone thinking that it's still like a big opportunity that lies in front of us? Yeah, because of the market potential. So by 2030, it's expected that asset tokenization alone will reach a number of 16 trillion. And obviously, there are many players that want to be a part of it, but still there are some hurdles to overcome. So stickiness to certain products, because right now we have many different platforms on the market, but nothing is really like, let's say, the place to be or to go when you want trade tokenized assets, etc. Then we have regulatory problems, variances. We have like on the country level, also on the continental level. Europe has regulation, the US, then you have this country-specific regulation, Estonia, Lithuania, etc. Governance risks that still exist, AML, digital identity, etc. If you are in this space and then you go to a bank and then say, oh, I want to have a bank account, they will say, oh, okay, maybe in 1.5 years, although they appear to be crypto-friendly. And we have still technology risk, as we saw with many projects that just disappeared basically from out of nothing. So next slide, please. But overall, there's a bright future for asset tokenization in Web3, and the roadmap for banks is the following. They need to focus on digital natives and Generation Z, because this generation is, they require products that are mobile first, that are technologically advanced, and ideally you can trade stocks just from your mobile phone with one click, and you don't do anything that is related to anyhow with paper. Then banks need to understand that there will be great wealth transfer, again, over 80 trillion that will be transferred in the next 20 years from baby boomers to the new generation. And we also will see a trend that we are going from a product-centric economy, product-centric approach of banks to a user-centric approach, where the user will decide how products will look like in the end, and not the bank itself. Yeah. So how will Web3 affect banking? Yeah, we will see basically that the counterparties like intermediaries will disappear, so they will still exist, but like I said, the whole landscape and players involved from traditional finance will be reduced. Then we will see, hopefully, that finally this promise of providing services to the underbanked and developed in countries will finally be achieved. with tokenization and Web3, we have here good tools that we can really do that, because people will be able to trade or to interact on the financial markets via mobile phone. And hopefully we will also see improvement in security and privacy. Transactions will be transparent because they're on the blockchain, and users will have more control over their privacy. And last but not least, always regulatory changes and challenges. That's natural, because when we're dealing with money, we need to always be compliant, we need to take care of AML, etc. So this is quite a big hurdle that we need to overcome. Yeah, what's next? Web3 is still in the beginning, at early stage, but certainly it will impact the banking industry and it will change it. But obviously it depends on how fast the existing players will realize and recognize that and want to be part of it. Then the process will be faster. Otherwise, we will take a few more years to basically get to a stage where we can really interact in the metaverse with the banking world. And banks will need to invest in user-friendly online and mobile banking applications, basically, again, addressing the Generation Z and the digital natives, so basically providing good products, mobile-first products. Next slide, please. Yeah, and final note, as I'm coming from the online trading industry, I see many similarities between now development in Web3, tokenization, and online trading. I mean, the first concept of online trading was around, I know, like 25, 30 years ago. Everyone said, oh, it will change, like we will have peer-to-peer trading and no banks will be needed anymore and so on. But as we see now, we have companies like Robinhood and Trade Republic, etc., that have a quite huge market share, but still it's not that banks just disappeared, they just took a different role, especially, and also the same goes for brokers. So I see the same development here happening basically in the whole Web3 and tokenization space. And I guess I'm not the only one, because according to many surveys, many CEOs and FinTech executives believe that change will come, but it will average take 5 to 6 years. And next slide, please. Yeah, and my personal conclusion and let's say, overview for the next decade. So tokenization, Web3 will change the banking landscape for sure, based on the market projections, as also on some of the slides that I have provided. Centralized finance and decentralized finance will coexist. I don't see personally a world where we have just decentralized finance and decentralized projects, because that will, as in also in political systems, usually end in anarchy and not in something that can really evolve and be stable. So they need to exist, coexist together. And banks will certainly not disappear, but they will need to find a new role, how they can be part of this new economy and profit from it as usual, as they always did over the last 500 years or even longer. Thank you very much.